Welcome back to Stronger Than Yesterday. And like I stated in the previous video, today I'm going to kind of touch on my journey applying to and getting accepted to Army OCS. And I'll update y'all on my plant-based journey. I'm now just over 24 hours in. But first, I think we need a little more appropriate scenery, and I need some coffee. Welcome back to Stronger Than Yesterday. Got a better scenery now, the stars and bars behind me, and I got my coffee. So first, I'll update you on the Stronger Than Yesterday journey. So it is now 24 hours into a plant-based diet. I feel pretty good. I slept better last night than I have in a really long time. So honestly, I think I can do this. 7 days is pretty easy, and honestly, going forward, I think I'm going to incorporate a lot more greens and nutrients into my diet. I don't know if I'll stick with this or not, but we'll see. So like I said in yesterday's video, today I might kind of touch on the OCS process, why I chose the Army, and some advice and tips I have for people who are going into the military. So a little bit on me first. I am prior service. I did previously serve in the U.S. Army as a 46 Quebec, so that's a public affairs specialist and photojournalist. So why I decided on the Army, I talked to the other branches, but at the end of the day, I served previously in the Army. I really enjoyed the Army, and my grandfather served in the Army, and I kind of joined for him, so it was kind of inevitable I'd end up in the Army. So found a good recruiter. Shout out to him, thank you so much, Austin South Recruiting. So the process of applying is basically you make a packet, put all your stuff together with like your college transcripts and all that kind of stuff, and get sent to MEPS, which is medical processing, make sure you're medically fit to serve. And then after that, you send up your packet to get approved to go to the board. Think of it like a formal interview for a job. And on my board, there were 4 or 5, I can't quite remember, 4 or 5 officers on the board. And they basically ask you questions about your packet, and they're gonna ask about any weak points in your packet. So if you have any stuff that you're struggling with and you're thinking about doing this, I would make sure those are cleaned up, tightened up, good to go before you submit. One of the guys in my section of people who went to that board, he had low run time, and so he kind of got hammered on that a little bit. So my heavy recommendation is run, run, run. You need to get that run time really good, especially if you're going to basic training. I have not yet been to OCS, but everyone I've talked to who just recently graduated and who graduated in the past have all said running is a huge piece. So that's the main focus of my training right now, is a lot of cardio, a lot of running, a lot of very high volume, not a lot of weight though. So once you finish up the board, if you do get approved, then you'll get a slot to go to OCS. So for my slot, I got slotted about 9 months from the day I finished my board and went to MEPS to go sign all my paperwork and everything. It was 9 months before I ship. So that is one of the longer wait times of any of the people I've talked to who went to OCS. If there's anything else you want to know about, just comment down below with any questions. I'll answer it in the next video. All right, so that's the OCS application process. And now it's just preparation before I go. So making sure my fitness is right, making sure I'm taking care of what I need to take care of. And on top of that, leading up to leaving, I do currently have a business that I run. And then I've got some other stuff I do is selling stuff on eBay and Amazon. So I've kind of got a full-time job, but I'm kind of lucky in the sense that I'm able to kind of make my own schedule, and that really helps with my ability to train. It's pretty easy to get lazy. You don't have anyone to report to. So these videos are kind of a way to help me stay committed and stay on track with my goals. Remember, stronger than yesterday, always. So the 3 pieces that I think really help you succeed at being in the military, applying for schools or OCS or anything like that. To touch on the book I mentioned yesterday, David Goggins has a comment called Being Uncommon Amongst Uncommon People. And when you can accomplish that, the sky's the absolute limit. So the first piece of this is physical. So for me, when it comes to running, I'm really not a big runner. I'm not a fan. So I have to find ways to motivate myself. And one piece that's really always helped is, since I always take a day off in between days of running, as soon as I start running, I always tell myself, hey, just finish this run, put out 100% effort, and then as soon as you finish, it's 48 hours before you run again. And that's always been pretty useful for me to help motivate myself to go run. For my actual running, I do a lot of intervals, 30-60s, 61-20s, 40-50s. I actually learned that from a guy in the Air Force when I was in Kuwait. Yeah, when I was in Kuwait at Camp Arifjan. So basically you run 40, 50-yard dashes. So you sprint down, walk back, wash and repeat 40 times. And that's probably my favorite workout right now that I've been doing. And then the second piece of being uncommon amongst uncommon people, standing out against your peers, is a mental piece of it. And this would apply to business, this would apply to school, this would apply to literally anything in life. So with the mental piece of it, everyone's struggling. Everyone around you is feeling the same things that you're feeling. I guarantee it. If you struggled with that test or you struggled to get that quota or whatever, there's someone else in the industry or at some other school or in that class who's having the same struggle. The difference and what really makes or breaks people, and why I saw when I was in school or when I was in the military or when I've had regular jobs or in business, those who strive on and keep pushing through failure no matter what happens are the ones who succeeded. And the ones who really started to let those failures kind of build and really took it pretty hard mentally were the ones who were not successful. And a really good example of this is in business school, we had a class called financial accounting that's real brutal. And it really fails out a lot of people. So I took my first test, class average 32. Yeah, 32. And I got a 72, and that was the first, what I would consider a not good grade that I got in my college career after the military. And so I went and was like, all right, I studied 10 hours a week, or I'm sorry, 5 hours a week last week, and leading up to that exam, now I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna do 10 hours. So I did 10 hours a week. My grade went up to like a 78 on the next test. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I can attest that I just kept ramping it up, putting more and more work in on studying. And when everyone else is watching Netflix between classes or screwing off or whatever, I would go get another hour or another 2 hours into studying. And I ended up with an 89 in the class, which I'm a little chapped about. Could have gotten an A. But, so it's just, when those around you and you're all experiencing struggles, those who look behind them and go, oh, well, what are you gonna do? And they're looking for somebody else to have a solution, as opposed to those who go, it's not that big a deal. I'm gonna try harder. I'm gonna put in more effort. I'm not giving up. Those around me who are still complaining and took them multiple tries to take that class, they failed out of business school, they're still in college. I graduated with honors, and it's the same thing with fitness. So every day just going out and putting forth more and more. And that's honestly why I named this channel Stronger Than Yesterday. Because if every day you strive to be 1% better than you were yesterday, at the end of the year, that's 365% better. Whereas everyone else is constantly going, oh, I want to be 100% better tomorrow. And they don't achieve it and they just kind of give up. So for me, I find it much easier to be just a little better every single day to achieve those big goals. And that's also why I mentioned in the previous video, David Goggins' comment about those small steps and small milestones to achieve the big goal. So if you do the little things, you can achieve anything. All right, so the third piece I want to touch on is finances. The best piece of advice I ever got that I still live to this day on financial management and financial literacy is a lecture I went to called How to Be a Millionaire. And it was put on by Dr. Stevens, and when I was taking Intro to Business Management. And he did it at the end of the semester. It was an optional lecture it was pretty early. I want to say like 9 a.m., 8 a.m., something like that. A lot of people didn't show up. I found this shocking. So basically your income should be split into 3 parts. You have savings, investment, and spending money. And you should be spending no more than 1/3 of your monthly income on combined things like rent, car payment, food, all those kind of necessities. So really shouldn't exceed that, and I do that to this day. I still drive a gently used, pretty old car because I don't want a car payment. 1/3 for that, and then 1/3 for investing, and then whether it's your retirement or investing in a business or investing in the stock market or something like that. And then 1/3 of your income should be put into savings, some future trip or a oh no account, some kind of emergency fund. That's probably the biggest piece I see is people around me who they would spend 60 to 80% of their check on their car payment and their housing. And it was like, man, what are you doing? And as soon as they had any kind of issue or whatever, the stress that comes with that, if you have a mistake or you need more money or you run out of money, it really takes a toll on people and it doesn't set you up for success. Those are the 3 biggest pieces of advice I would give to anyone who's trying to be really successful in life, whether it's business or school or military, is if your fitness is right and you're eating right, you're getting plenty of sleep, you're more likely to be successful, and you're going to stand out amongst your peers when you're competing in a physical environment. And then mental side of it is just hunt the good stuff and always make sure you're looking forward to the end and always be stronger than yesterday. Third is the financial piece. So always make sure that your finances are right and you're budgeting your money and you're investing in your future, investing in yourself. Last piece I want to touch on before I go get to work for the day is first impressions. So no matter what you are doing in life, first impressions are huge. Already getting in that mindset of being accountable, showing up on time, and doing the little things right. And it reminds me of a saying from a captain that I heard that was, if you're in the right place at the right time with the right attitude, you'll be successful no matter what you do. And so that's just one last piece I want to touch on that I just see too often nowadays. People who aren't really concerned with first impressions and the little things like being on time and being dressed right and things like that. It's really not that hard. If, let's say you're normally 20 minutes late, just shoot for 18 minutes. And then in the future, shoot for 15, 12, just kind of whittle it down. Like I said before, 1% better than yesterday. It's all that matters. Stronger than yesterday doesn't mean breaking world records. It just means stronger than yourself. You are only competing against yourself in life. And when you think about life that way, you're more likely to be successful. And like Bill Belichick says with the New England Patriots, don't focus on the end goal. Don't focus on the Super Bowl. Focus on right now, do your job, and do the little things right, and eventually you'll achieve that big goal. So do the little things right. Always shoot to be stronger than yesterday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.